Welcome back. We will continue with the session on attitudes. In the last lecture, we came to know what is attitude, what are the components of attitude, how attitude affects behavior and behavior affects attitude. We came to know about the theory of recent actions. Now, in this session, we will try to focus on the attitudes present in the workplace, and that was a general discussion about attitudes, and here we will try to concentrate upon the attitudes that are present in the workplace. So, just a brief again about attitudes. Its attitudes help us to determine or help the organization to determine how employees will perceive their environment, commit themselves to the intended actions and ultimately behave in the organization. So, because managers are interested about the employees' attitude, because they will come to know then how their employees behave to attitudes towards, what are the attitudes of the employees towards their job, towards their career and to the organization as a whole. The attitudes which are very important, employee attitudes which are important to employers are job satisfaction, job involvement, organizational commitment, employee engagement and work mood, which we will discuss in the subsequent lecture and this lecture also. Jobs, the first attitude that we will be discussing over here, attitude in the workplace that we will be discussing over here is job satisfaction. Job satisfaction has been defined as the favorable or unfavorable feelings and emotions with which the employee view their work. Job satisfaction is an affective attitude, that is a feeling of relative like or dislike towards something. Job satisfaction is different from the intellectual response of the employee towards his or her work and the employee's behavioral intentions. So, job satisfaction is either a favorable or unfavorable opinion that you have about the job, and consequently you have job satisfaction, or when you have an unfavorable feeling, it is called job dissatisfaction. So, pleasurable, it is also defined as a pleasurable or a positive emotional state resulting from the appraisal of one's job or job experience, and it is an appraisal of the perceived job characteristics, work environment and emotional experiences at work. So you can see like there is a while you are talking of job satisfaction, individual differences also play a major role, in the sense we are talking of appraised, it is from the appraisal of one's job or job experience, and we are talking of the perceived job characteristics. So, perception, one's perception of the job characteristics, how one forms judgment about some of the job characteristics, these are important factors in determining the job satisfaction of a particular person. And individual differences like the personality, perception, level of motivation, factors which motivate a particular person, all these factors play important determining role in for job satisfaction of a particular employee. Likewise, we can tell about the sources of job satisfaction. So, job satisfaction can be viewed as an overall attitude, or it can be applied to various parts of an individual's job. So, you can take job satisfaction as a single question, as a overall experience, like are you satisfied with your job, or which is a generalized job satisfaction that we speak about, or you can talk about job satisfaction with different facets and aspects of the job. So, different aspects of job satisfaction include wages, working conditions, nature of work, promotion, supervision and work group. Some of these are directly related to the job content or the nature of the job, and some are related of course to the job context, that is supervisor, co-workers and organization. So, these are again related to the aspects of motivation. We will find out, like when you are talking of job satisfaction and factors related to the job and factors which are contextual factors which are related to the job context. Maybe we can relate with Herzberg's theory of motivation regarding hygiene factors and motivators, and how it leads to satisfaction of an employee, what motivates and how it leads to satisfaction of employees. So, we will consider that theory again while we are discussing motivation. Ways of measuring job satisfaction. So, one is a rating scale, which is called like job descriptive index by Smith, Kendall and Hulin, where the factors that are considered are pay, promotion, supervision, work and co-workers. We have a next questionnaire which is called Minnesota Satisfaction Questionnaire, which deals with 20 different areas like ability, utilization, achievement, activity, advancement in the job, authority, satisfaction regarding company policies and practices, compensation, co-workers, creativity, independence, moral values, recognition, responsibility, security, social service, social status, supervision, human relation, supervision, technical, variety in the work and working condition. So, this is regarding the whole satisfaction questionnaire is regarding the whole aspects of this job and the organizational situations, contextual factors present, type of supervision that you get, whether you get independence in your job or not, whether you are properly compensated, what are the company HR policies and practices, whether you are given a career advancement or not, what is the working condition, what is the level of security that you are getting out of doing this job, whether creativity is allowed or not. So, focus has been made from different aspects to find out whether you are satisfied with the job or not, and what aspect, what facet is more satisfying for you in the job that you are doing. Other techniques are critical incident techniques, interviews, action tendencies and existing information. So, in critical incidents, what happened, like you are given some critical, you are asked to report some critical incidents like which has occurred throughout the day, and you have to report like whether it was a satisfying experience for you or not. And in interview, you are interviewed about your experiences in the organization, and action tendencies and existing information also are similarly ways to measure job satisfaction. Existing information present in the organization about the stories and information present about the satisfaction of the employees. So, these could be the measures of job satisfaction. Consequences of job satisfaction is productivity, like reduced turnover, absenteeism, tardiness, presenteeism, job stress and unionization. So, we will just focus on presenteeism over here. This is a behavior where you are present physically, but yeah, mentally you may not be present. So this is a behavior like absenteeism means you are away you are physically not present in the organization, but presenteeism is a behavior where you are present in the organization but physically, but mentally you are not there, you are absent from the job mentally. So that behavior is somewhat more alarming, because you cannot just tell like you were not there, you were not there, as you are absent, but the employee is present but still he is not there mentally. So job stress and unionization are other factors of job satisfaction or dissatisfaction. Improved physical and mental health are also related to job satisfaction. Customer satisfaction is one of the important areas, like when you have a satisfied employee, it leads to better employee performance and customer satisfaction. What are the supervisory actions for maintaining satisfaction? Are maintaining open lines of communication, create a good physical environment, remedy for substandard condition, transfer of discontent employees, change the perception of dissatisfied employees, display concern for employees, give ample recognition, allow for participative management, practice good management, conduct morale building programs. Point 6 and 7, that is, and point number 1, that is maintaining open lines of communication, displaying concern for employees and giving ample recognition are important points, important ways of giving the message to the employee that you are important members for us. We really feel for you and we think about you. This generates good feeling about the of the employee about the organization and may lead to job satisfaction. Responses to job dissatisfaction could be in, like if you get, there could be 4 responses. So job satisfaction and job dissatisfaction are taken to be two separate continuum, and when factors responses to job satisfaction could be in two, like it depends on 2 things, like whether it is a response could be either destructive in nature or could be constructive in nature. It could be active or passive in nature. So when it is passive and destructive, what you do is you start neglecting your job. So silently what you do, you neglect your job. When it is passive but constructive in nature, you do not harm the major mission of the organization, but you are passive, then what you do, you show general loyalty, but there is no passion in the work that you are doing. If it is passive, if it's active and if it is destructive in nature, then what you do, you exit. And this is sometimes if a competent worker is leaving the organization on whom like organization depended much for its performance, or the organization has invested much on training development of that employees, this exit is a major loss for the company in terms of the human resource that has been lost. So that active and destructive is the way of showing your job dissatisfaction is exit. constructive and active in nature is you voice your dissatisfaction and try to find out ways of solving the issues which leads to job dissatisfaction. So, you do not exit, but you try to voice, you make others known about your dissatisfaction and the reasons for it, and you try to find out a solution for solving it. That is a constructive and active way of showing your dissatisfaction. Employee satisfaction is a broader term which denotes a general satisfaction of the employees with the organization. Employee satisfaction is a terminology which is used to describe whether employees are happy and contented and fulfilling their desires and needs at work. Many measures purport that employee satisfaction is one of the factors in employee motivation, employee goal achievement and positive employee morale in the workplace. Employee satisfaction, again it's while it's very good for the organization, again it could be like somewhat danger if the mediocre employees who are not performing well stay back in the organization, because they stay because they are satisfied with your work environment. So, you have to employee satisfaction in that way does not mean like it will always lead to better organizational performance. You have to find out who are these employees who are better satisfied with my organization. Are they better performers also? Factors contributing to employee satisfaction include treating employees with respect, providing regular employee recognition, empowering employees, offering above industry average benefits and compensation, providing employee perks and company activities, and a positive management within success framework of goals, measurements and expectations. Out of these, the 3 points which are highlighted, treating employees with respect, providing regular employee recognition and empowering employees are more important, because offering above industry average benefits and compensation and providing employee perks and company activities may not be possible for all types of organizations, but what is definitely possible is treating employees with respect and somewhat recognizing them, not even with not with monetary benefits, just good words, gestures. These are important for generating employee satisfaction. So, employee satisfaction is generally measured through questionnaires to study the employee satisfaction with areas like management, then understanding of mission and vision of the organization, empowerment, teamwork, communication and co-worker interaction. The facets may vary from company to company. So, as you can see, the facets of job satisfaction is somewhat considered. It revolves around the job itself, but while you are talking of facets of employee satisfaction, it revolves around the whole practices of the organization, the mission, vision, the way the empowerment is done, the teamwork, communication, different organizational processes and design factors, and also HR policies and practices. So, employee satisfaction is a more general term about satisfaction with the organization, and job satisfaction is pivotal to the job itself. Job involvement is the next concept that we are discussing. Job involvement is an attitude towards the work role and its contexts. Conceptual definition of job involvement have been of two basic types. One regard it as reflecting the degree to which person's sense of esteem is affected by job performance. The other views it as the centrality of the work and the job context to the individual's self image. So, it's both way, like how the job that you are doing, it's affecting your self esteem, whether it is below your esteem, or it is boosting your self esteem or not. And the second way is how it helps in defining how much central the work and the job context is in defining your self image. So, both the ways there is definition of like job, it will show job involvement. If the work is like you define your identity to some extent by the job that you are doing, that also shows to some extent the job involvement, and also the job you are doing the other way, like how it is affecting your esteem needs. Both ways it can lead to job involvement. Organizational commitment. Organizational commitment or employee loyalty is the degree to which an employee identifies with the organization and wants to continue actively participating in it. It is a measure of the employee's willingness to remain with the firm in the future. So, if you see, like if you are progressing as a in a scale, job satisfaction is a satisfaction with the job itself. Next, we can talk of job involvement, like I am not only satisfied with the job, but I try to see the job as a part of my own self, and then try to identify with it. And then when we are talking of organizational commitment, it is a broader aspect in where we find like we are not only involved in the job that we are doing, but we are also committed or loyal to the organization, and employee identifies with the organization and want to continue to actively participate in it. It is an employee's willingness to remain in the firm in the future. Types of organizational commitment could be: number one, which is continuance commitment. It is the need to stay in the organization based on the cost of living or a sense that available comparable alternatives are limited. So, continuance commitment here is what happens is like you continue with the organization because the options for you to go somewhere else is very less, and there is a cost of living, and you know, like you are not competent enough to get job elsewhere. So what you do is you drag yourself to the organization and you continue over there. So it's out of that deficiency need that you have, like you will not get job elsewhere, you continue with the organization. Normative commitment is a desire to stay with the organization based on a sense of duty, loyalty or moral obligation. So, you stay with the organization because you feel like it's your responsibility to do so, you feel obliged to do so, and like it's your moral obligation, or as a part of your loyalty you stay back. Affective commitment is the emotional commitment, emotional attachment that a person feels for the job, because they see their goals and values to be congruent with that of the organization. This part of commitment is actually which is desirable for the growth of both the employee and the organization. The emotional attachment with the organization and the matching of the goals and values of the organization and that of the individual employee, this is very much essential for better performance and effectiveness of the organization, because employees can like identify with the organizational goal and do not feel deprived, like the organization is trying to get its own goal achieved and is not careful, it is not paying heed to the employees' growth needs. So, when this alignment is there, the affective commitment is there, then organizational performance is better. Factors that inhibit employee commitment are excessive blaming, then insincere gratitude, failure to follow through, inconsistencies and incongruities, inflated egos and bullying. So, if there is an excessive blaming of the employees, then if there are inconsistencies and incongruities in the feedback given, now a while you are praised for certain things, next moment you are like scolded for doing the same thing. One person is being rewarded for certain thing, the other person is not rewarded for doing the particular thing. When practices vary within the organization, then it may inhibit employee commitment, like bullying also, and bloated egos, like I am the best performer and I know better than the others, and these type of things may lead to less of employee commitment. I am like I am superior for this organization, I am much better than what this organization deserves, than the sort of employee that this organization deserves, will lead to less of employee commitment. Factors that stimulate employee commitment are clarity of rules and policies, investment in employees, that is training, respect and appreciation for efforts, employee participation and autonomy, making employees feel valued. So, these are important factors which stimulate commitment. So, making employees feel valued is very important, but again it has to be like you have to put a check on that it does not lead to inflated egos of the employees. So, proper procedures for making people valued, then respect and appreciation for efforts, putting efforts in their investments in employee training. So, these are important factors that may stimulate commitment. Next we move on to very important attitude, where like till now what we have come through is job satisfaction, employee satisfaction, job involvement, organizational commitment. These are like somewhere that there is a like employees do what they are asked to do by the organization. But when there is a simultaneous use of like affective commitment, then your job involvement, and both these things come together, and people feel a vested interest in the company's success and are willing to act to a level which exceeds the job requirements. It goes beyond, goes an extra mile beyond, passionate enough to go beyond, and takes vested interest in doing something extra than that exceeds the stated job requirements, then that is called employee engagement. It is a discretionary behavior voluntarily taken by the employees without being forced by someone to do it, to do something which elicits highest productivity of the employees, their best ideas and genuine commitment to the success of the organization, because you are not forced to do these things, you do it out of your own, you do it voluntarily because you are passionate about the job or the organization and you love to do that for the organization. So, these psychological state where employees feel a vested interest for the company's success and do something extra beyond what is stated in the job requirement is known as employee engagement. So, if you can see the progression, satisfied employees performs their jobs and are satisfied with the terms and conditions of employment. However, they tend not to go above and beyond in their efforts. Motivated employees, in addition to sharing some of the attributes of satisfied employees, motivated workers contribute energetically and are highly focused individual contributors to the organization. So, they are motivated to do certain things, they are energized performers and they contribute to the organizational goal. Committed employees have thoroughly internalized the values and behaviors represented by the earlier stages of the engagement model, but also have forged a strong identification with the organization. So, this is very important. In the committed employees, there is a sense of organizational identification where the employees identify with the organization. It starts becoming the organization starts becoming a part of the employee's own self, and they get the identify with the organization. Their self gets defined by the organization's organization. So, that is committed. When you are talking of engagement model, the last stage, which is the advocate stage, they freely contribute discretionary effort, a willingness to go that extra distance in executing projects and regular duties. They feel a mutuality of interest between his or her values and aspirations and those of the organization. So, when I can identify myself with the organizational self and we find there is a map of our values and aspirations and the organization's aspirations, and we voluntarily take some effort to give something extra to the organization, though nobody has forced us to do anything, that stage is called the advocacy stage of the engagement model. Drivers of employee engagement are of course a sense of personal accomplishment, benefits, career opportunities provided by the organization, sufficient channels for communication, confidence in senior management, training and development opportunities. So, the first one is the sense of personal accomplishment is very important, like having a meaningful job is very important, where we know like what we can contribute, like how we can contribute in giving a shape to that particular job, and so that we get a proper feedback of what is happening, so which gives us a sense of personal fulfillment and accomplishment. That is a meaningful job is very much one of the important factors for employee engagement. The benefits that the organization provide is also very important. Then having sufficient channels of communication, where we encourage upward communication, horizontal communication, so that we discuss with each other and find out solutions to the problems. These are very important factors for employee engagement. Confidence in the senior management's ability, expertise, their decision making power. These are also important factors of employee engagement. Also, having training and development opportunities are very important, so that we can grow, we can develop our competencies for solving certain issues at hand. Drivers of engagement vary by the nature of the industry, which is like high technology, retail, financial services, professional services, civil service. All these different industries have their own goals, missions, and accordingly like performance standards, and all this will determine what factors are necessary for a better performance of the organization and the employee, and accordingly the drivers for engagement will vary, because different aspects, different resources are required to perform job, and the nature of job in different industries also vary. Each job has its own personality pattern, and it asks for different competencies from its employees, and as a result the drivers of engagement may vary from industry to industry. Organizational context, like the growth phase that the organization is in, the privatization of the organization, restructuring, downsizing, mergers and integration, employee demographics, all these will lead to a specific organizational culture, a climate which can be whether there is a trust, whether there is a cooperation, whether there is open communication and not, whether a particular culture is given importance or not, how diversity is looked in all these organizations will depend on these organizational contexts, and these factors will again affect the employee engagement process. Also, it may vary from country to country based on the national values which are there. Covered the different attitudes, like which are more important for the workplace, like the job satisfaction, job involvement, organizational commitment, employee engagement. Next, we are going to discuss in the next upcoming chapter is about emotions in the workplace and working moods, and also work moods, and we will discuss in details about the emotional intelligence, the factors of emotional intelligence, the values, what are values, how it is different from attitude, what are the different types of values like personal values and organizational values, societal values, etc., how they develop and how they are interrelated with the attitudes, and then we will discuss certain questions based on all the things that we have learnt in attitudes. Thank you. After discussing employee engagement, we will continue with emotions, and we will get to know like what are the emotions, primary emotions, secondary emotions, and what are the importance of emotions in the workplace. Emotions are a state of physiological arousal and changes in facial expressions, gestures, positive and subjective feelings. Emotions are linked with basic adaptive behaviors such as helping others, retreating, seeking comfortable work area, and verbally attacking someone for starting an erroneous rumor. Adaptive behavior helps a person in adjust to changes. Emotions can also have negative effects like disgust and fear can disrupt behavior and relationships. So, due to all these reasons, emotions in the workplace, studying emotions that people show in the workplace is an important area of organizational behavior today. In the earlier years, we were not much concerned about the ways people express their emotions, or how to make the organization a suitable place where people can express their emotions, both positive and negative. That was not much of the concern, but as organizations are becoming more employee oriented, more importance is given to the employees and their well-being. So, these emotions in the workplace is finding a major part in the OB literature and research also, and also like it has become a major issue for the practitioners how to deal with emotions in the workplace. There are like 8 primary emotions that people face in like fear, surprise, sadness, joy, disgust, anger, anticipation and acceptance. These primary emotions can vary in intensity. The mildest form of emotions are called moods. A mood is of low intensity, but it is long lasting in nature emotional state. Moods act as subtle emotional factors that affect day to day behavior. Emotions last for short time frames such as minutes or hours. Moods often last for longer time periods such as hours or days. So we have to be careful about generating a positive mood. The work environment should be designed in such a way like it helps in nurturing or generating positive moods, work moods, because the duration for which moods last are much longer than emotions which could be like for only for certain minutes or for hours, but when it gets prolonged it becomes, but the intensity it's low in intensity, but the feeling remains for a longer period of time, then it is called moods. Secondary emotions are emotions such as aggression, love, awe, remorse, contempt, optimism, disappointment. These are called secondary emotions. These are called secondary emotions because it generates from the combination of 2 or more primary emotions. Work moods are feelings that the employees have about their jobs that are highly dynamic. They can change within a day, hour or minute. These variable attitudes towards their job are called work moods. An employee's work mood towards the can be described as ranging from negative, I hate this task, to positive, I am excited to take this new challenge, and from very weak to strong and intense. Strongly positive work moods are visible in the passion, the energy that the employee takes, and the vitality and the enthusiasm with which that person does the job. They lead to closer attention to customer service, lower absenteeism, greater creativity, and better interpersonal cooperation. Work moods are directly affected by like the managerial practices like sharing praise, creating an atmosphere filled with occasional fun, humor in the workplace, and providing a workplace filled with pleasant surroundings, and engaging in and encouraging a reasonable amount of social interaction where people can talk in informal ways, share their feelings, where there are fun elements present, there is less of formality. All these helps in generating a positive work mood, and a positive work mood where leads to a less stress in the mind, and it can lead to better creativity and cooperation and better work performance. Expressions of emotions are fairly common. Some facial expressions are influenced by learning and are unique to the national culture. Despite some cultural differences, facial expressions of fear, anger, happiness and sadness are similar around the world. A difference is, however, how often these expressions occur in various cultures. So, this culture plays of course a part in expression of emotions, and while we have to know about this culture specific expression of emotions, the intensity with which the emotion is expressed, how it is expressed, how frequently it is expressed, these may vary from culture to culture, and we have to be conscious about these factors, because when we are doing businesses in different countries, if we have to adapt to the culture of that place, we need to know about the expression of emotions, particular emotions in those countries. Otherwise, the organization may send a very wrong message to the country and its people about the respect that they have about that country and its people, which may in turn affect the business of the organization. Affective events theory, as it is told AET, it tells about work events which trigger positive and negative emotional reactions. Personality and mood determine the intensity of the emotional response. Emotions can influence a broad range of work performance and job satisfaction variables. Implication of the theory is that individual response reflects emotions and mood cycles. Current and past emotions affect job satisfaction. Emotional fluctuations create variations in job satisfaction and performance. Both negative and positive emotions can distract workers and reduce job performance. So, it is like both negative and positive emotions, too much of both the things are like it may be distracting for the workers, and emotional fluctuations can create of course differences in performance, and the current and past emotions, they affect job satisfaction. So you can see like the work environment in which is like the characteristics of the job, the demands of the job, requirements for emotional labor, all these lead to certain work events like daily hassles and daily uplifts in the job, which will lead to emotional reactions which are positive or negative in nature. And this is again defined by the personality factors, predispositions, like the personality, personal predispositions like the personality of the individual and the mood. So, what is your mood will help, what is your personality and your related mood will define how you interpret the work events and what reactions, emotional reactions you develop towards it, whether it is positive or negative. The emotional reactions that you develop for your job will have an effect on the job satisfaction and the job performance. So, managing emotions for compensations is called emotional labor. So, it may happen in organizations that you have to enhance, fake or suppress your emotions to modify the emotional expression. So, what are the norms regarding it? You can be you can acquire it from during your socialization processes by asking your colleagues, or they may be stated and in training and selection manual. So, emotional labor is one of the very crucial issues of managing emotions in the workplace. Because you have to manage your emotions for your there are certain jobs like the jobs of receptionist, air hostess and others. If you're in the you help providing services, like you're a counselor or you're a doctor or you're a nurse, what is required that the pleasant mood, pleasant emotion is one of the primary factors what is required as a part of your job. But it is not true that every day you as a person will be having the similar moods or the similar emotions. There could be happenings in your life which may lead to very opposite emotions in your, like from your family life, you can have those opposite emotions. But when you come to the workplace, you have to like suppress those emotions and behave in a very different way, appear jolly and appear in a pleasant mood, which may lead to emotional labor and emotional stress, which could be a very stressful factor for you. So, how to do it, like how to do the switch on and switch off, because it is required as a part of your job, requires training. And you can also learn this by vicarious learning, by observing your colleagues around you. And that is why we come to tell, like, emotions really play a very important part in organizations, in how you provide your services, how you deal with your customers, and ultimately how a person performs in the organization, leading to organizational performance. So, there are two ways for individuals to manage their emotions: through surface acting, where one regulates his or her emotional expression, and through deep acting, where one modifies feelings in order to express a desired emotion. In both, like deep and surface acting, there is a conscious effort being employed. Although emotional labor may be organizationally effective, one word of caution is that it may lead to burnout of the employees. So, what the organization should be careful about is to find out a way for release of emotions, so that though in the work situation you require to maybe act in the opposite way than the true emotion that you are running throughout that day, maybe there is some place, someone to confide upon, to share your genuine emotions and release your pent up emotions that are there within you, because day in and day out, if you have to do this emotional labor and play with your emotions, change with your emotions at the deep and the or the surface structure, if you go on doing this continuously day after day, it may lead to burnout of the employees, and that employee may become less productive in nature. We will continue with emotional intelligence, values in the workplace, values from the Indian concept in the later discussion to be followed. Thank you.